Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Victor Gonzalez. First, I want to say sorry if maybe my English don't understand anything. I used to speak Spanish usually all the time, and just arrived to my vacation, and my brain is in relaxed mode in this moment yet. But I try to speak in English, my best English. I will try. I want to introduce my friend. My friend cannot come for this presentation. He is the real great mind before of that. I am only the front, like an app solution architect, that has a wonderful front and have a wonderful back that made all possible. And at the end, I want to begin about the topic. Our topic today is Ansible Automation Platform Connection Development for Azure DevOps. My name is Victor Gonzalez. My other friend is Andres Osorio. What is the topic that I want to present to you today? Something about us. I work in a bank known Bancolombia. I want to talk about all the things that we make with Ansible automation, and at the end I want to present to you our solution for the challenge that we have with DevOps. First, something about Bancolombia. Bancolombia is a bank in Colombia. It's the biggest bank in Colombia. Have a wonderful building and comfortable building. We were happy then. Bancolombia is a bank that have more than 100 years working hard for put financial and non-financial products for the service of the people. Actually, he have 8 years in the New York stock and work hard for make it different. Bancolombia has more or less 290 billion in assets. Had more than 25 million of clients. Have a lot of transactions, digital transactions, working day by day. It has more than 30,000 direct employees, and had present in part of the America, usually Central America and Latin America, especially in Colombia. Some countries that be part in Central America is El Salvador, Guatemala, and Panama. Usually try to make a different theme based to financial services. What is nice for Bancolombia? Bancolombia is a bank that spend a lot of money, try to innovate and try to invest in technology. For that reason, in the region, other companies try to watch what Bancolombia do it for his technology and try to evolutionate about that. And not only implement tools, implement methodologies too. For that reason, we try to move faster with the technology. And for that reason, I want to talk today about Ansible. Bancolombia, some couple of years ago, began to implement DevOps methodology. It's a challenge for a bank because it's usually that the bank have a lot of monolithic architectures. Bancolombia is a product of, at the end, a fusion of many other banks. And when you try to implement DevOps methodology, it's a big challenge because you had the fusion of many cores and a bit applications. And you try to make them work together, but at the end, find out to be a challenge. More now than you try to have on microservices, or you try to have on a hybrid solution that work in public cloud and his on-premise and other kind of thing that kind of challenge that we know how engineers. In that way, we began to try to find a specific tool that help us to have a specific automation system, or try to make a pylons that be possible, then try to automate all the development of the application of the solutions. We prove a lot of kind of tools. That's the real part. At the end, I select Ansible for many reasons, 3 reasons in particular. I think that you watched that pictures in other presentation about Ansible, because Red Hat used that with many of his presentations, but I want to bring because it's part of real, part not. We suffer a lot trying to implement Ansible in our company, because it's a difference between you want to implement it and you use it at the end. Implement is hard because you need to transfer all the mentality of the people, of the culture, all that kind of thing that at the end the companies don't pay attention that need to have or solve. Red Hat all the time say, okay, you can make it, it's easier, go and use it. But at the end, it's not worth as simple as do you think. At the end, we implement it. We implement it for that 3 reasons. That's real. At the end, when you implement it, it's simple to use, yeah. Because you use a common pylon with YAML or JSON, and you can execute it, and it's easier at the end. It's powerful because at the end, it's amigable with yours. You can use it. You don't need to learn a lot of things about that for try to prove in the beginning, and you can obtain all the knowledge step by step. But I think that the powerful reason is agentless. When I began try to move all those charts from on-premise to public cloud, we had a really big challenge because you had a lot of pylons. But when you try to catch or found a specific host in your network, you can use an agent, and the majority of the tools use agent for try to execute something, or maybe you can have a group or hubs, and you can at the end execute something. And Ansible can then permit that we can have that kind of things. And I think that the agentless at the end was the big reason that we began to use Ansible. At the end, we had a lot of other collection that could be great that you can found in the Ansible presentation that you can use for make it easier for implement Ansible, and that could be other grand things that we select at the end for that. What happened with Ansible in our company? We implement it. We implement Ansible, try to solve layer by layer all the challenge that we have. At the end, we began to use for help to the development teams for deploy applications, specific characteristics of the application that you don't use like a pylon of the application, more like the environment. Try to open some ports, try to make easier the configuration between the infrastructure and the application, and try to close all the cycle of the continuous integration and continuous delivery, more like part of that whole solution. For the networking, we integrate all the system with ECI. ECI have some kind of thing that you can solve for Cisco specifically. But when you try to use other components like an Aruba or something else, you need to intermediate tool that help you. Ansible sold us like a platform for finish to integrate that kind of things and try to solve other part that we really manual for us, that is give and IPs. IP by IP. When you try to select a block or network address, you need to guarantee that SolarWinds gives you that and guarantee that you can to use it all the time. Ansible helps us to try to automate that. For the security, we configure all the specific compliance of our company. We are a band. The bands all the time have a lot of things based to the compliance that we need to solve. We configure all the things based on that kind of compliance things. And in infrastructure is the part of the we work more because when you have an on-premise, you have a band, usually or your infrastructure or your architecture has in your on-premise. But you have the challenge to compare with the cloud public. Or the cloud public all the time saying, I can't give you a server in 1 minute, in 1 hour. And the challenge when you watch your on-premise, you have the same kind of solution, but you spend 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, and all the development men say, hey man, you are not fast. You spend a lot of time to wait for you. What happened? Ansible helped us because we passed to bring a machine. We spent more or less 8 days. It's our first day, 8 days, try to give a machine for development teams, and we passed to bring it in 1 hour. It's a really big time of difference. 1 hour with all the compliance that we needed to give for the people. It's nice at the end. When we try to close, we have other challenge. What was the challenge? What was the solution that we show in this moment for yours? Is then we had a DevOps, and you say, okay, usually DevOps is more understanding, and other people believe that is more dev. Is the development team say DevOps is mine, and I want to DevOps, but DevOps including infrastructure too. Our company use Azure for that, for all the continuous integration and continuous delivery. But when you want to close all the pipeline, you have ops, and you need to connect with your infrastructure, and you need to connect with the host, and you need to guarantee that all the infrastructure have the components necessary for the application work. But when you arrive to Azure, you only found a specific connector for the Ansible engine. Then you can to execute host by host. You don't have more options. It's host by host. When you watch that and you had a lot of components, then you need to change with your operation is a challenge. We had more than 500 applications. I had a lot of components on infrastructure. Imagine make change one by one. For that reason, we work in our interior teams, in our technology team, for change that kind of force made the things and create a new connector. The known is TNT because I usually say that my team made all the problems for the TNT, like a dynamite. And create a specific connector. What is the idea of the connector? Then we don't have a host, then we have a service connection. If I have a service connection, we can create an API token. If I have an API token, I would have a group of execution for making that possible. And at the end, we can to change the things, how it worked. Not only try to have only one house. We can to first bring the application a solicitude of the Ansible, and then then connect for a specific service connection that we was created in the past with all the credentials that we need to have. what kind of thing we can to add additionally? That if you watch, we had the service connection. We pre-create a service connection with a group of execution that we have in our bank. And we had some things about the description of that one. And this is an example of that. We had a platform that is an IBM iSeries server. We had a lot of things about the iSeries. I know that it's crazy try to automate things in iSeries. If somebody knows it, because it's a really big mainframe. It's a little bit complicated, but Ansible could that the people use it for automated. In this kind of thing, we have a group of execution for iSeries. Now a friend showed you in direct, in online, that kind of things. But I want to explain you first because he speaks only Spanish, and I should make in parallel both. It's a group of execution. When she bring the connector left here, then you create a name, a specific name of your execution, invoke the service connection that you want to use, invoke a name of template of Azure, because you can have a job template or workflow template. It's great because you can execute a workflow step by step. It's another advance. You can use the type of job, and you can select additional all the variables that you want to execute it with that. At the end, you can add or execute. It's more or less like a YAML. You can invoke a specific service connection. You can invoke the template, and you can at the end have a time of then permit and you execute it. What is the advantage of that? We pass then only have host by host to permit then all the team of development can execute all his pipelines. I pass to make it better because now can print or put it in the marketplace or our development and pipelines for the development team can use by his own. And that is great for us because reduce the operating activities and permit them the development have more autonomy based in his jobs. Now I want to let my friend Dan show you about the online design that I watched you in the presentation, because I want that you watch that works. Is the nicer of that. And let me get out of field. And Andres is here. Andres, is you listen to me? You are on the screen and you can show. Okay, now is the part of the service connection. We had in these cases a lot of service connection. Why a lot of service connection? Is because we have a lot of service provider, and the rule of the service provider, don't share all. My knowledge is my knowledge, and for that reason we had she know then this correct, yeah. We had to create a lot of service connection used by any kind of service provider. We have a lot of pipelines in our Azure DevOps. In this moment, we have a pipeline, easier pipeline for iSeries. It's a proof or lab iSeries that we have for create a lot of things. iSeries is our core, is the machine where I have our core in this moment. And it's a challenge for us to try to automate for change all the monolithic and common things about that. Mm, That is our an specific Ansible connection template. We had an idea on execution. We had a specific workflow template. Is the name of our template that I watch in the other image. And at the end, it was easier. We run in the execution want to find easier. It's easier for us to try to use with a connector than was easier for us. It's funny because usually the people when work in his common activities don't pay attention, they move faster because they move fast between the windows, and he tried to watch a lot of things and he is laughing, but he knows that in this moment other people is try to watch his execution. Andres. Yeah, it's more like an yeah. Okay, Andres. Yeah, he's nicer. No more. It's nice, like an engineer. Okay, at the end, what is the conclusion for that? The conclusion for that is it's a simple connector. If you watch at the end, you say it's not has bit, but at the end, make it better all our operation because we only had one connector or one service connection account for try to execute a lot of activities or a lot of workflows and make easier the relation between dev and ops in our company. Our next steps is try to put our connector for all the people that want to use it. We created the idea is try to put public for the other company that had the same challenge use it. It's easier for because have an API token and many companies use Azure DevOps for his company. You want to watch the code?
When he's looking at it, if he could zoom in a little, that would be.
Oh, yeah. Andrés, si puedes ponerle zoom a lo que estaba mostrando hace un momento. That screen or?
Yeah.
Sí, really esa. Súbele zoom.
Thank you. I don't even need my glasses anymore.
And that's it, my friend. I don't know if you had any questions. Yeah.
Basically, this connector only allows you to fire templates. That's all it does. Is there more features in that?
You can try to solve the connection between Azure DevOps and Ansible, and you can use for you have your pipeline in Azure DevOps. You was created that, and when you want to execute, you can to execute or Azure template or workflow templates. You decide what.
Another question, you don't need a build agent, right? Do you need Ansible?
Ansible Automation is our challenge, because when you use Ansible Engine have a connector, but Ansible Engine have a few specific things that you can to make it. It only can to execute one by one. But Ansible Automation, you can to have an orchestrations templates. We had a lot of activities and you can to use it. And
The question is, you don't need a build agent, right?
no,
You don't have to make it.
no. Yeah, you're executed and that's it. You use the only you use the URL with of your Ansible, and the API token created with your service connection.
This is available to everybody?
Our idea and our next step is put available for all the people that when we can use. I am talking with Microsoft or Colombia Microsoft if he left us to put it direct in the Azure DevOps. At the end it's done. We are found to put it for services in any community things, because actually Bancolombia is member of the CNCF and we can to solve it easier, I think.
Could you use that to call AAP? The API compatible with each other between Tower and AAP?
I don't understand. Sorry, it's because my English is not the best. If you can to speak slow, maybe.
So that's calling Tower. We didn't have experience with Tower. We've only been on
Yeah.
AAP. I don't know if the APIs are compatible between Tower and API, or if there's some parity between the two.
AAP is Ansible Automation Platform.
Yeah.
Uh,
The whole suite includes, Ansible as well.
yeah. You can use it that.
How do you like running on IBM? I see you're running on an AS400, putting on LPARs. How do you like that?
Okay.
Okay, just okay.
Just okay.
Great.
If you want it.
Okay.
How does it?
Yeah, in Colombia it's say sí a todo. In maybe it's yes to all.
So how does it know that the job template that you try to run actually failed or was successful?
Fede, te ayudame a traducir.
Sorry.
No, it's because
So, it's an API request, right? So how does it know that the job template that you try to run actually completed or if it failed? Como la validación.
la validación.
Si el job funcionó.
If you want to know if it's successful or not when you execute it.
Yeah.
Okay. Andrés, ¿cómo hace la validación cuando te das cuenta que quedó ejecutado? Muéstralo de nuevo, porfa, y muestra dónde fue ejecutado como tal. Yeah, that's. You run your template or your workflow, and at the end, the result show you is was successfully or not.
Oh, you get the output from that.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna be output. You don't have a way to automatically detect if there was a failure in your playbook. Is that how it works?
Okay.
So that was that's an SDF out, right? But I don't see anything there if it actually has a failure in test going on. Okay.
Yeah, at the bottom, just like the regular command line you would run, you would see a failure. See that?
Yeah.
If there was a failure.
Yeah. And that's it, my friends. Thank you for coming.